Building relationship and community is extremely important. If you feel as though you need a dose of hope, a sprinkle of love, a little bit of quirkiness, heck of sarcasm, raw, authentic realness, and just straight fun, I say welcome to the Get Set with Lissette family, because that's what this is going to be. Hi, I'm Lissette. I'm bringing the conversations, and so let's get set with Lissette. So, get set with Lissette. Conversations that we're starting to have are simply just the premise behind the why, the when, and the how. So let's take it back a little bit. Get Set with Lissette has been a project, a passion project, should I say, that has been in the works for about 7 years, no exaggeration. This concept of having inspiring conversations and empowering individuals to take action, as I've shared before, has been a journey and something that I've been going on for years, decades at this point. Now, the concept for the actual podcast has morphed at different points. There was a time when I had a group of friends and we all talked about starting a podcast, and we were going to do it based upon the perspectives of each one of my girlfriends are very different from the other. So we were going to have it as a girls chat kind of thing. Not necessarily the name. Please don't come at me if anyone has that name. That was not what we were going to do, but the concept was very much there. Didn't go anywhere. Then there were moments where we had conversations. I had conversations with professionals in the field that I'm currently in, which I'll get into that as well. So as long as you know that I'm not trying to force what I do onto you, because again, this is about conversations. However, let's just put it out there. We're going to rip the Band-Aid. I am also a licensed realtor with Keller Williams Essential PA, and that is how I actually fund this passion. So at one point, when I was with other colleagues, we discussed an opportunity to possibly maybe do something in that arena. Didn't go anywhere as well. And I don't believe that anything happens by coincidence or by accident. So when something is not supposed to happen, it won't. And when something is yours, hell or high water, it doesn't matter. It will happen. What is yours is for you, and no one can take it away. And I live by that. So again, had another concept, didn't go anywhere. Cool. Sat here and I was like, well, you know what? Maybe the podcast thing is not necessarily the venture that I'm supposed to take. And yet, when you got that feeling in your gut, that feeling that's like, you gotta do this. This is something that needs to happen. You got something you want to say. So what I started to do was journal. I started to journal, and I've been journaling. I've got this journal that's a 5-year journal. And I had started to just journal all of my thoughts, all of my scares or worries, I guess, fears, things of that nature. And I've just been journaling and journaling and journaling. And I kept doing that to find an outlet, because I felt like there was so much that I wanted to get out, but I didn't have the outlet to do so. So I journaled. Still have that journal. And I will say, at some point or another, that journal may be on this couch. Don't know when, but you're going to see it at some point, because it has all of my ideas for the last 3 years. I'm 3 years in with it. And that's how it just kept going. And I just kept writing and writing and writing. And I have been doing so. And then I thought maybe this is going to become a book. And that was going to be the venture. And I was like, not, who knows? And I'm not going to say it's not going to be, because God only knows the path that he has for me. And I am here to just follow it along and do what it is that I feel is correct. But again, that gut feeling was still there. And so the Get Set with Lissette community became a life of its own. However, the name comes from my mama. And y'all have heard it before. I said my mom was right at one point, and here we are full circle with yet another moment. My mom is the one who actually created the name Get Set with Lissette. And the concept of Get Set with Lissette at the time was more so for branding when it came to my real estate. The goal had been that I would do like a hashtag Get Set with Lissette. And I would do that because the idea was to get set for whether it was you were buying or selling real estate and or investment properties, right? That was the idea. So anytime I did a deal, anytime I spoke with someone, I'd say hashtag Get Set with Lissette. And again, that feeling's still there. So now I've got this name. I still have this passion. I still have this dream of mine, right? To just speak with individuals and empower people to make moves, to make things happen. And they're all just kind of now just going around and around and around. And these things are happening and things are happening in my life. I've been at other individuals' podcasts. I've spoken to people. I even did some public speaking. I was speaking at schools. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to put the podcast idea to the side because maybe the idea, Lissette, was that you were supposed to talk to people, right? And your audience is actually young adults, right? That's your audience. That's your bread and butter, not bread and butter, because none of those things were necessarily paid. However, if anyone ever wants to, again, who am I to block someone's blessings, right? But I digress. So I started to just almost talk myself out of the idea. I started to say, this is where you're good at. You're good at speaking to classrooms. You're good at having conversation with individuals. And then on the flip side, I was also training other agents and training individuals on the team that I'm working with and trying to find other avenues to pour into people. So I'm like, I'm set. I've got my brand, Get Set with Lissette. I'm helping individuals and coaching them. So that's taking care of that feeling of that impact that's so important to me. And I'm also having that same impact by having these conversations with high schools. Lissette, let it go. And yet, as life would have it, and as things would work out, there was this push in the brokerage that I'm working with. And the conversations that kept happening were, again, not by coincidence, but by, like, at this point, God ordained. Because there was this influx of media conversations and the importance of having conversations with people and the importance of putting yourself out there. And one of the models that have continually been mentioned, and it's like, I hear you, Lord, was getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I had countless conversations with people who started to take this next venture. And I'm like, but did you have this? Did you have that? And because I'm type A personality, like to dot my I's, cross my T's. I'm the person that says, oh yes, I'm going to start this when, right? And I would keep putting different unnecessary things in front of me. Oh, once I get the actual camera, then I'm going to do it. Once I get the right microphone, then I'm going to do it. And it's like, first off, you don't have to do everything on your own, right? You always should leverage yourself. And if there's an ability or an opportunity to leverage, please do so. Leveraging 10 out of 10 all day, every day. And then also, I started to realize I was psyching myself out. I was putting unnecessary barriers in place because I was scared. I was so scared about doing this venture completely by myself. Because what does that mean? That means that I'm having a conversation with you, yes, you, whoever you are out there, but there's no one that I'm seeing. It's just me and you. And that is a little scary. I didn't have any co-hosts. I didn't have any, no groups. And I was like, how am I going to make a successful podcast if I don't have these things? How am I going to be successful if I don't have, you name it, I put that in there. And then I realized, it's just about relationship. And I started to think about my original why. And my why, well, we'll start with my favorite quote. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Gandhi. So there it is again. I just want to be the change I hope to see in the world. I hope to have inspiring conversations with at least one person. There have been countless times that people have stopped me in the office where I work, and they'll say, oh, I just feel better because I saw you. Your humanness. I remember someone in the office saying that they loved my humanness. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Yes, I'm human. Thanks. But it's because I always try to show up authentically who I am. And if that means that that's something that people can embrace and enjoy, then Lisette, listen to it, right? So again, someone says it one time, that's a coincidence. Yet again, I'm hearing now the importance of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I hear you. They're talking about someone else, right? Ain't that how we do it? We start to sit here and be like, yeah, I hear you, but that's not for me. We start to pick and choose what is for us and what ain't for us. It's like being in that church, right? Oh, pastor was speaking right to me. But when you don't want to hear the word and you don't want it to be, oh, I don't know who they talking to today, knowing darn well that was meant for you. Anywho, again, I digress. When I say I can talk all day, it's what I do. So I sat there and I was like, okay, this person said you should start talking. Coincidence. Then the conversation about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Coincidence number 2. Is it a coincidence? Who knows? Then there was literally an individual who came to our office to talk about a life-changing event that forced him to just start to share his story. And he discussed imposter syndrome and the fact that he felt like he shouldn't even be the one to have the conversations. And when I say that just, hit me in the gut, that was it. I was struggling with this concept of why me? What would I be able to give someone, right? I'm not the expert in whatever the concept is. And then I realized I'm in my 30 plus years, I've been doing this, human thing for quite some time, right? I got a few stripes on my back. I've gotten a few, dents here and there. Oh, I've worked in a lot of different kinds of fields, right? And I've experienced a lot of different work-related scenarios. Forget about work. I've also been involved in a lot of different types of organizations and have dealt with a lot of different type of people. Oh, let's say you like to travel. You've been to a lot of different places. Girl, you got 2 huge families. You were made for this. When I tell you my mom is one of 9 and my dad is one of 10 and cousins come galore, conversations, I'm bringing that all day, every day. It's what I needed to do and what I had to do. And if I didn't want to talk to someone, 9 times out of 10 on the weekends, we were at some cousin's house, some uncle's house, somebody. You gonna talk to somebody, right? I was made for this. And once I started to think about that and start to say, it's not about the accolade, the whatever letters, although I got a few behind my name too, because we're not going to also downplay me. But when I started to really peel the onion and get down to my why and my core, it was very simple. Like I've said and I've shared, and I'll continue to share it because that is the premise, the reason, the rationale, the whole backing of this dream. And it is just to have inspiring conversations that empowers people to get set for whatever it is they need to do in their life. I'm never going to sugarcoat things. I'm the friend that you come to when you need raw honesty. I'm the person that will sit with you in the midst of chaos to ensure that you're okay. I'm the friend you can call at 2:00 in the morning and she's always going to answer. I am that friend and family member, except for the one time, because I know this is going to come up, when my sister was giving birth to my nephew and I was supposed to answer that one call and I missed it. However, in my defense, I forgot to take my phone off of Do Not Disturb. So let the record show, had the phone actually rang, I would have answered, right? Because I can't say, because I already know my sister right now, when she hears this, if she hears me say I'm the one that picks up the phone at 2:00 in the morning, she's going to say, and she's going to call me out and tell me, no, I'm not. That one time, sis, I'm looking right at you at this point. It was not my fault, even though it was, because I should not have the phone on Do Not Disturb, but it just goes automatically on that for my sleep. Sleep is very important to me, ladies and gentlemen. And yet, outside of that one, and he made it, Love my mister, okay? All things work for good. My sister made it to the hospital. She got through. All was well. No harm, no foul, okay? I only say that, though, to say I'm the person that has always been the one that people lean on. And I think the reason why I'm that is because of how I was raised. Like I said, mom's one of 9. My dad's one of 10. My mom is the oldest girl in the family. So I'm going to paint the picture of my family for you real quick. Entertain me. Here we go. Both of my parents were born in Puerto Rico. I'm of Puerto Rican descent. And for whatever reason or another, back in those days, people had children at home. So, but when my mom came into the world, there were 3 boys before her. So I have 3 uncles, then my mom, and then 5 girls after that. When my mom was in about the 5th or 6th grade, my grandfather decided to move. At that point, they were a family of, there were 8 kids at that time, and my grandmother and grandfather. And they moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And then the youngest of the clan was born here in the U.S. Anywho, they believe in family over everything, right? We're FOE all day, every day. My family is extremely close-knit. It was Sunday dinners every Sunday at my grandmother's, house. Same concept even to my adulthood now. We try to have Sunday dinners at my parents' house as often as possible. It's how we were raised. Same on my father's side. So my father is the opposite. He's one of 10, and he is second to the youngest. Also grew up in Puerto Rico, came to the U.S. at about 18, 19, right? At that point, a lot of his family, like his actual siblings, they all were married with their own kids at that point. Because you got to think, when you're coming from families of 9, 10 kids, the gap is crazy when it comes to ages, okay? When I tell you, I've got an aunt as young as we could actually go out with each other, like we're closer in age. And then I've got somebody past my father's age over, knocking on 80. The gap is crazy. But I say that to say, so because of that, and because I have such a robust family, I was always around people. There was music, there was people, there's food, and the conversations are endless. I was the kid who was always where she wasn't supposed to be. The kid that was with the adults, right? And you're not supposed to, interrupt an adult when they're talking. Oh, no, I was there. I may not interrupt, but I would sit, I'd listen, I'd give perspective. I've been doing it from the rip. Hence the shirt. I'm bringing the conversations. That comes directly from my family, my mother's side of the family. And will entertain me. We'll do one more story about this shirt, and then we'll keep going about Get Set with Lissette. So I'm bringing the conversations, like I said, I've been doing that since I was a kid. And this shirt was given to me as my superlative as we celebrated one of my aunt's 60th birthday that just recently happened. So if my family can recognize that in my 30s, knowing that that's how I've always been, and my friends understand it, it's just right that I finally do it. It was like everyone was telling me, literally telling me, right? Here's a shirt for the proof. And if you don't see it, I'm wearing a black shirt with white lettering that literally says I'm bringing the conversation. And probably one of the best shirts I've ever been given because it's so true. And my aunt, God love her, in Texas, to her, she gave and named each one of our superlatives based upon our personalities. And I was given a little umph of do what you're supposed to do, Lissette, because the world's ready for it. And when my aunt said that while we were in Puerto Rico, I could cry now. I said, you know what? It's time. I'm done hiding behind, waiting for the right. It's just time to do it. And if you guys, again, every single time we talk, I'm always going to give a takeaway, a little nugget of something that if you heard nothing else, if everything I'm saying doesn't necessarily resonate, I hope this one thing does. The idea is to just be out there, be authentically true, And my goal is to create community. That's the concept. I want to have a tribe of people that if you've ever doubted yourself, if you question yourself, if you feel like that's good for them but not necessarily me, these are your people, because that's how I've been. It's funny how life works. It's never about all the things that you do. You always think about what you didn't do or what you lack, what you can't accomplish. We tend to and God, again, I've mentioned it before, so pray for me, and let's just say, please be patient with me, because social media has not been my thing, but I'm really going to push myself to be better at it. And I'm really going to push myself to be more present in that space, because it's a necessity and it's our reality in today's day and age. Not really been my thing. I struggle with it because I am much more personal. But I want to create relationship. And building relationship and community is extremely important. And I want to build it with the right people. So if you feel as though you need a dose of hope, a sprinkle of love, a little bit of quirkiness, heck of sarcasm, raw, authentic realness, and just straight fun, then welcome. I say welcome to the Get Set with Lissette family, because that's what this is going to be. We are going to embark on a journey of having really deep conversation. And when I say some of the guests that I already have lined up, they're not necessarily someone that you might know, but those stories, thinking about it gives me goosebumps, because the stories that we're about to have are the kind of stories that I think we need more of in this world. Some of the things that you're going to be able to see on this venture with me is discussing vulnerability, something that I struggle with but have been getting better at, and it's a journey we're going to take together. So for those that are rocking out with me from the beginning, hopefully we can see the transformation and the evolution together. We're going to really, really, really dive into how to get set for all the things that we need to get set for. That includes mindset shifts. That includes the building of confidence. It includes the ability to embrace self. I'm talking self-discovery, self-awareness. More of that is needed, right? And also dreaming bigger and wanting to getting set for those big things. We've got some business owners that are coming in that are, all the people that I bring on, if and when they come on, it is because it's not just what they've accomplished, but the heart behind it. Because to me, that's what's most important. It doesn't matter what a person does, the accolades that they have, if they're a shitty person. And I'm sorry, couldn't think of a better word for that. Integrity, authenticity, and genuineness are things that, in my opinion, are just needed and to be a good human being, right? To just be good. And I, in every fiber of me, want to believe that I can continue to be a good person and make real impact in a not so good area or place. That's the goal, right? That's the dream. To be a little different, stand 10 toes down on what I believe in, and continue to have great conversations. So I say all that, though, to say, let's keep the conversation going. It's not going to just be about me. So I try my best to respond to all the emails that I receive, but I'm going to go ahead and put the email down below. However they do those things, it will happen. The email is GetSetWithLissette@gmail.com. So I'm always going to bring you the content, but I also ask if you have a question, if you have a story, if you want advice, I'm here to give whatever I can, and I'll do my best to respond to them as quickly as possible. And not only will I respond to them there, but there may be moments where I share some of those stories or some of those, some of the information that I get that comes in. I'll share that with all of you, because again, this is a community, and my hope is that we build this community together in love, and that we inspire each other every day to continue to have the deeper conversations, to get to know the heart a little more, and to empower each other to continue to get set for that next step, whatever it may be. So thank you so much again for yet another great episode. I'm so happy we're continuing this journey, and I'm excited for what's to come and for all that we're going to share. And now you get to know the why behind it and where we're headed. So sending light, sending love. Mwah. Bye.